Welcome, pilots, to Mech Arena Quarterly Clash 7. It's here. But what is Mech Arena Quarterly Clash 7, which is here? For starters, I'm just going to call it MAQC 7 for short. But what is it? It's a quarterly tournament organized and supported by Plarium. Quarterly means 4 times a year. MAQC 5 was in March. 6 was in June. We were expecting 7 in September, but with this being the 5th anniversary celebration and month, we're doing it a bit early. I'm expecting MAQC 8 in December, but don't quote me on that. But what is MAQC? It's massive. It's the biggest and bestest tournament series in all of Mech Arena history. In the whole history of everything. It's a 6-week-long tournament where teams of 3 to 5 players, 3 to 5 if you're in Europe, compete. They face off against each other in best of 3 battles to claim a part of the incredible, the absolutely insane, the mind-blowing 5 million Acoin prize pool. I didn't say a typo there. It's 5 million Acoins. For anyone that's familiar with MAQC, the rewards are only Acoins this time, and the number of weeks increased from 4 to 6, and it's best of 3 on one map, not one match on 3 different maps. One match each on 3 different maps. The prizes are based on the number of wins through the whole series and will be distributed after the event is completed. In more detail, your team registration includes all the players on the team, 3 to 5, including the captain, and the maximum squad power among the players. I believe Discord is mandatory for all players, but especially for the team captain. I know a lot of our younger pilots don't have access to Discord, but it's required for verifying that the team members are the team members. Discord link up here and somewhere down there in the description. It's discord.gg/mecharena. I believe verification before the match starts will still be done by a live moderator. So once your team is registered, and I'll give you an example of the whole registration process in a bit, you will be placed in a bracket of similar max SP teams, squad power, and each week you'll be matched against other teams with even more similar squad power. So if you're in a bracket of, let's say, 5 to 6,000, hopefully your weekly matches are going to be within like 100 max SP of each other, but that doesn't really make a whole lot of difference. It really doesn't. One team is always going to be stronger than the other, but between the brackets being there to loosely group everyone together, and then the teams being matched with even closer SP tolerances, the final pairing should be fairly balanced. It seems balanced to me. The final SP ranges for the different brackets will be determined after the first week of registration. As your team gets more wins, you might end up matched against stronger opponents, but that just means you're getting even more loot. The map for the week will be announced each week on the Monday, and the format is always control point clash. Now, I need to stress this whole max SP thing. The registered max SP among all the teammates is very, very important. This is the highest SP ever achieved by any member of the team ever. It's not your current SP, it's not what you normally use, it's the maximum SP that you've ever reached. This number determines what bracket your team is in, and this number determines matchmaking. If you get caught fibbing about that, your team might get disqualified. You're at least going to get a minimum 25% final loot penalty. It's not in your interest to cheat or try to cheat, because you're very likely going to get caught and everyone on your team is going to suffer for it. Not to mention your opponents are going to get a bonus 10% to their final loot tally. More on that later. So here's an example of my hangers. I normally play like 17.5 to 18,500 squad power, but my maximum is, I believe it's this hanger at like 19.2-ish. So I'm just going to round that up just to be extra safe. I'm going to round that up to 19.4. which is irrelevant. It's meaningless. It's like one level of one mod. So I'm not too worried about that. But I will try to break down the slightly confusing rules about squad power. There's this tolerance system. So we're not overly restricted by squad power. And there's two separate tolerance systems, which makes it all even more confusing. So there's a 10% SP tolerance. And what this is that your current SP must not exceed 10% above the registered SP. So over the 6 weeks of the tournament, you're allowed to progress your hanger. Except, there's a big but here. Like, people are going to get upgrades, and it seems silly to punish that. But we also can't have people jumping from 4 to 14K and then be matched against the original opponents. Lols. The problem is there's a 5% SP bracket tolerance. So your current SP must not exceed 5% above the bracket SP. So if your bracket is, again, 5 to 6,000, if your hanger goes to 6,600, which is 10% over, let's pretend your max was 6,000, that's still more than 5% over the 6,000 limit. 5% of 6,000 is about 300. So even though you're, in theory, personally allowed to go from 6,000 to 6,600, you can't go above 6,300. What you can do is just skip your upgrades for a few weeks, unless you know you're way below the limit. And it's always a little tricky to predict how much mods will affect your final SP, because it's not a static amount. Failing to satisfy both the conditions will result in penalties. That's why I'm stressing this. You need to be very careful. The penalties range from a loss of points, which means loss of loot, to complete disqualification. Yikes, we don't want that. So speaking of penalties, MAQC is also introducing an honor system, spelled properly. It's designed with a U. It's designed to punish bad people and reward virtuous and honorous chefs, I mean players. For any rules violations, serious rules violations, the offending team can have their final reward cut by 25% per infraction. Not infraction, infraction. Bonuses to the affected team of 10% do not create a Nash equilibrium. That's what I referenced earlier, and I had to throw in some math nerd stuff for my math nerds. The penalties can be stacked. Yes, they stack. Does this mean if a team has more than 4 serious rules infractions, they lose Acoins? Can they have Acoins deducted from their accounts? Can they go into the negatives? Probably not, because if you I'm still giggling about the thought of that, but if you have 4 serious infractions, you're disqualified. But I'm still on team negative Acoins. This brings us to prizing. You earn a larger portion of the ridiculously massive 5 million Acoin prize pool based on total wins and the bracket you're in. The value of the bracket is linear. Here's some more math stuff. In very basic terms, if you're a 5K team, if you're in a 5K bracket and you have 3 wins, 3 losses, and there's a 10K bracket team with 3 wins, 3 losses, they're going to get twice your points, twice your Acoins. Just like a 20K bracket versus a 10K bracket, the 20K bracket's going to get twice the Acoins. Also, and it specifies this in the rule book, a team with 0 wins may receive no rewards. It doesn't say they will receive no rewards. They may receive no rewards. Maybe I'm looking into this a little too much. But you still might get something just for showing up, which I kind of like. I kind of like that a lot. I don't know if the plan was to give people that go 0-6 anything at all, but again, I do like that. Prizes will be distributed when the entire event is over. So here's some footage of me registering as team captain. I go over to the link above and in the description, maqc.mecharenadev.com. The registration opens today, August 3rd, and the registration period is 2 weeks. The leader, or team captain, or Lord Commander, or chef, is the player who registers on the website and registers the team. That player is responsible for team communication in the Discord channel, negotiating match times with the opposing captain, posting results, and making sure the team is following the rules. It's a lot of responsibility. And really nothing bonus for doing it. It's thankless work. The upside to doing it yourself is you have no one to blame but yourself if you mess up. If you know that you're responsible and you're prompt with your communication and your schedules and everything else, you're going to likely make sure that you're not going to take any silly losses or have any weird disqualifications. So the captains make changes to registration up to the end of the first 2 weeks. Oh, and there is a late registration option, but that means no score for the first week. But playing 5 matches is still better than 0 matches. Pairings will be sent out to the team captains through the Discord separate channel on the Monday of each week, and I highly encourage all the captains to reach out to each other on Monday. Don't wait, don't delay. I know many people, myself included, won a match that we probably wouldn't have just because the opponent captain didn't bother replying to messages until like Saturday. And by then we were all busy. And it's not like we sent one message. There was one team, I'm not going to mention any names. There was one team where we sent 5 messages to the opposing captain. And then like Friday morning, they said they'd get back to us soon. Soon was Saturday night. And I'm like, they're offering a window of like 2 hours on Sunday? No, that's completely ridiculous. And the mods agreed with us and we were given the win. And it was a hollow victory. Other than they probably would have beat us. Okay, so it's 2 weeks from now and you're paired with your first opponent. What do? Your team captain, maybe you, reaches out to the opponent captain and they negotiate, or you guys negotiate, a time. If you can't come to an agreement, a moderator should get involved. This is an international game and time zones can be problematic, especially because we have so many younger pilots and they don't really have the option of playing a match at 3 in the morning on a school night. I get it. Most matches are played on the weekend, most of them. Unless the 2 teams live in the same time zone or similar time zones. Okay, the team captain confirms the match schedule. They confirm the agreed time in the appropriate Discord channel, and they tag the opponent captain. So the opposing captain is also notified that the time is there, just in case there was a confusion, in case something was lost in translation, or there was a mix-up in time zones. Everyone's alerted to the post. We come to match day. Your team shows up. You get into a specified Discord chat room. You get verified by a moderator. And I believe this is where everyone needs to be on Discord. I will confirm this, but as far as I know, everyone needs to be able to share their screen in a Discord voice comms room. Missing teammates may be supplemented with fill the bots or equalize the bots match options if both sides agree. And again, it's teams of 3 to 5. But if one of your teammates doesn't show up, if they don't show up, yes, I had it right the first time. English is such a weird language. If one of your teammates don't show up and your opponents agree to it, which I think they always do, you can just fill your team with bots. And I'm pretty sure the mods will go with you on that one. And you do the best of 3 matches, first to 2 wins, on the CPC map of the week. And it's always CPC, and the map, I believe, changes every week. That's what it says in the rule book. The results are reported by the team captain in the appropriate Discord channel, and the opponent captain is also tagged. The team captain should take screenshots after every match, and it's probably a good idea for someone to record the matches. You repeat that whole process 5 times, good luck. And now here are some tips from yours truly, ChefVlahos. Rule number 0, have fun. This is healthy competition with massive prizes, but it's still a game. If you're my opponents, no mercy. Bwah ha ha, ha 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 ha. Have fun. Rule number 1, make sure your team captain is someone that's reliable and can follow instructions. If you're the team captain, be proactive. Read up on everything and assume nothing. A careless mistake on your part could cost your team a loss of 25% of final rewards or even a disqualification. Nobody wants that. Rule number 2, do not, I'm going to say it again, do not try to cheat the system. You will get caught. Everyone on your team will be punished with you, up to and including disqualification. You're also a bad person if you try to cheat. Shame on you for being a bad person. Rule number 3, team captains need to be proactive. Do not wait for the end of the week to reach out to the other captain. Reach out on Monday. Negotiating a time should be a quick conversation over Discord. If you can't come to an agreement, take screenshots and get a moderator involved. You're not tattling on someone, you're not telling on them. You're reaching out for help from a moderator, probably because you have a wide time zone discrepancy and there's students on your team. We saw this a lot. And by students, I don't just mean teenagers. It's also college and university students play the game. Also people that are like career professionals that play this game. Some of them are out there. Some of them are here. Sometimes we can't play at 3 a.m. Sometimes we can. In advance, you and your team should work out what your entire schedules are for the full 6 weeks of MAQC 7. So the captain knows in advance, here's the time blocks that we have available. Here's what's, negotiable, and here's what's fixed. Like if somebody says they can't play past 7 p.m. their time, that's a hard and fast can't play past 7. The match should be scheduled for 6. I expect it's going to take at least half an hour to play the game, plus add 15-20 minutes for verification and just administration silliness, and then just round it up. So give yourself a full hour for the round or for the match. Rule number 4, and this goes more into the technical side of things. Know your maps, know your strategies in advance. Voice comms help a ton with coordination. A well-coordinated team, a team that communicates well, that has a good strategy and reasonable hangers, can defeat a less coordinated team with stronger hangers. I've seen this many times because I've been on the team with the bigger hangers, and we got crushed by weaker hangers with great communication and great coordination. I shouldn't be bragging about that. Rule number 5, there is normally a rule against self-destructing your bot or jumping to death, and especially quick spawning. The usual rule is that you're only allowed to self-destruct if you're hit with hemlock 3 times in a row, or if you're stuck in terrain, and you better have screenshots to show to a mod or a judge. Again, there's normally a rule against restarting your mech, of destructing and spawning another one. I didn't see a reference to that in the rules. I expect that will get changed, so watch out for it. Here's some personal observations from my long tenure in doing MAQCs. I only started doing them last year. Last year, I got around 2,000 Acoins in each of the MAQC I participated in. That wasn't in the top bracket, and that was only going 3-1. And I got about 2,000 Acoins, and back then we also got some elite mod parts. Kind of crazy. And this time around, the prize pool is 2.5 times bigger. It's crazy. My team that went 3-1 every time, one of those times the opponents didn't show up, so we got the win. And the other time the opponents didn't they didn't coordinate with our team captain, so we got a win for that. So out of 2 MAQC, I got roughly 500 Acoins times 2, so 1,000 Acoins from opponents not showing up and team captain not communicating. That's a big W for ChefVlahos. Lols. I also recommend that you do not treat this like a scheduled pickup game with randos. It's not like your daily login, you check your friends list, you form a team and you hit, start. And you duke it out with your opponents. Teamwork, coordination, communication, practice makes a huge difference. Make sure your teammates are on the same page. If you're more dedicated than they are, make sure that expectation is clear up front. And it's nothing personal. Some people are more serious about the game than others. If your teammates aren't as serious as you are, don't have them as teammates. It doesn't mean they're bad people. It kind of does make them bad people. It doesn't really mean that they're bad people all the time, just some of the time. We all have different goals. We all have different desires, things that we expect from our game and from our hobby. Some people are hyper competitive. Some people just want to show up, blow up stuff, watch their own mech get blown up, laugh about it, and have fun with their friends. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not competitive. Oh, speaking of competitive, I know some people in previous MAQCs that lost 2 matches. They were 0-2. And then they won 2 matches because their opponents didn't show up. Those friends of mine were in the top bracket and they got more Acoin. They got bigger rewards than I did for only playing 2 matches and losing both of them. Lols. Again, make sure your team captain on day 1 reaches out to the opposing team and does their best to coordinate within reason and schedule a match. And if your opponents don't show up, they've had plenty of time. And I get that real life happens and sometimes people, something happens and they just can't play the game. That's unfortunate, but it's also not fair to the other 9 players to, cancel or ask to cancel or reschedule or something. If it's early enough in the week and it's a reasonable request, of course, you try to accommodate players. That's a little bit of soapboxing. Again, if you want to show up with friends and hope for the best, that's great. But please don't be disappointed if you lose to weaker hangers that were better coordinated. Make sure you're setting your expectations. All the latest information can be found on the official Discord. That's at discord.gg/Mech Arena. There is a channel dedicated to questions. If you have questions, read through the channel first. Your question was likely already asked and answered, and the moderators are already overworked. The last thing you want to do is cause a moderator more stress and more frustration for answering the same question 15 times in a row. That's it. Remember, rule 0, have fun. Rule 1, annihilate your enemy. Rule 2, Acoins. Pink and purple and happy and shiny and 5 million Acoins. Those rules go well together. Opa.